Hey guys, Pete here. Since the finale of Watchmen is fast approaching, I'm going to do a bonus video today about the top questions I want answers to in the final episode. This list is things that I think we can expect to get answers to, or at least get an idea of what they had in mind with it. It won't contain all the small little things, but I will mention a lot of those as I go through the rest of the video. Overall, I think they've done a pretty good job of setting up mysteries, deliberately leaving clues, and then paying things off in a way that's pretty satisfying. So these are the top things I think that we'll get answers to because we're supposed to want answers to them. And you guys can add to this in the comments. Number 1, what does the Millennium Clock do? Most of the big mysteries that I'm interested in all revolve around Lady Trieu. The clock has been a big centerpiece in Tulsa. She's been building it for over a year. The only thing we know about it is it's nearly indestructible and that Bian says that it tells time. There have been a lot of theories across the board about what this thing does. And at this point, I just want to know what it's for. In my trailer breakdown this week, I talked about some things that we saw there, and I honestly don't know what they mean. We think this thing is going to be a major part of what her plan is, so that leads us into the next one. Number 2, what is Lady Trieu's actual goal? What is she trying to do? She says she's trying to save humanity. She's led on to Angela that she knows that the Seventh Kavalry is trying to capture Dr. Manhattan and that they want to destroy him. We know that she has been working with Will Reeves. They have something planned that's going to happen soon when the clock goes live is what we expect. This also seems to be coinciding with the Seventh Kavalry taking Dr. Manhattan prisoner. And it probably has something to do with the Millennium Clock that we were just talking about. A lot of the ideas have been that she wants revenge against the United States and possibly even Dr. Manhattan for the Vietnam War, or that she is actually trying to change the world and make it a better place. Those two things could work together. Most of what we know about Lady Trieu comes from PDpedia stuff and what her companies have done. We know that she's involved with cloning. We've seen her produce a baby for a couple to trade for their farm. We know that she created nostalgia, the drug that lets you live in your past memories. We know that she's given everyone HD TVs in the area for the inconvenience that her construction caused. We know that she's working with Will. Like I said, he's got mesmerism technology that can work as mind control technology. People have guessed that she might be trying to erase people's memories, that she might be trying to hit people with an empathy bomb to make them care, give people other people's memories to make them more empathetic. And the reality is that we just don't know. We know that she has cloned her own mother, and that would lead us to the next big question of who is her father? She said she wanted her parents to be with her when she celebrated her life's achievements. That's why she brought her mother back in the form of a clone, and that her father would be there too. There really aren't that many choices. It has to be somebody that we know, someone who's connected to the story. I would say that I think it should be someone who's connected to her in the current story, someone that we know, and that's why I think it's probably Adrian Veidt. I can't give you a good reason for that other than the fact that they're connected. There's nothing in the original story that made me think that he would want to have children, or perhaps he has children. So there's going to have to be an explanation to go along with that. But I have trust in the writers that they can make that something interesting. The other candidates would be Dr. Manhattan, just because he's there, or Laurie Blake's father, who was the comedian. A lot of people like the idea that it might be the comedian. I am not a fan of the theory. Many people have said this because he was in Vietnam. That's a big part of his story. He actually killed a pregnant woman in the story as well, so some people think that Dr. Manhattan might have somehow saved the baby, and that might be Lady Trieu. But there's a couple things that go against that for me. One, they haven't talked about the comedian much at all in the actual TV show. He's been dead for a long time. He's the one who died as the murder mystery in the comic book. And the other reason I don't like it is because in the PDpedia file, they said that her mother had written a parenting book. So I don't like the idea that Dr. Manhattan might have saved the woman in the comic book's life. However, that doesn't mean that the comedian couldn't be her father, but I just don't think it lines up with what we've learned. And they do discredit the idea in the Lady Trieu fact or fiction story that's up on the website, so I would be surprised if they go that way. Speaking of Adrian Veidt, the next question is about him. And that's number 4. What's up with Ozymandias? It's a general question, I know, but we know where he is, or at least where he was in 2016. That's the last time we've seen him at the English Manor on Europa. I think all of us expect that he's going to come back and be a part of the story in 2019. So will he get there in the finale, or is he already there? Those are 2 questions. And is he connected with Lady Trieu? Is he her father? If he is he part of the plan? Do they have a plan together that they hatched even before he got sent to Europa? Was getting sent to Europa part of his plan? We think that Lady Trieu is the one who told him that Dr. Manhattan was on Europa, so that could be a possibility. Also, we saw how much it was bothering him that he wasn't being recognized for saving humanity. So you have to think that he's always been scheming and trying to think of a way that he can get the glory that he deserves. His legacy, his child, that could play a part in that. There may be a reason why he went to Europa. There may be something he learned while he was there. We really don't know. So I just want the whole Ozymandias, Adrian Veidt storyline to have an ending, and I'm looking forward to see what it is. Number 5 is, where is Looking Glass? Looking Glass went missing after the 7th Kavalry came to his house. He was devastated after learning that his entire life of prepping for the next squid attack, the next interdimensional excursion, was all based on a lie. Agent Petey went to go look for him. He wasn't there. He killed all the people, as far as we can tell, from the 7th Kavalry who showed up. He seems to take in one of their masks. So what is he going to do in relation to the end of the story? I'm guessing he slipped behind the lines and he's pretending to be a cavalry foot soldier. Would he be trying to stop whatever they're trying to do? Would he just be trying to save Angela in response to turning her in before to save her life? What would he do if Adrian Veidt showed up? He doesn't seem like he would be very happy to see the guy who faked the squid attack that ruined his life. And that goes into the next one, number 6. Will the truth about what actually happened in New York get out? We know people in the government know what happened. We know that all the costume adventurers involved that were there know what happened, but the general public doesn't know that it was all a hoax. The 7th Kavalry and people who believe in Rorschach's journal, they take it as truth. It still sounds just as crazy to people in this universe as a lot of conspiracy theories sound to us. I tend to think that Lady Trieu is working with Adrian Veidt, so it wouldn't be in her interest to get the truth out there. It certainly wouldn't be in Adrian's interest because he doesn't want people to know that he pulled off a hoax. So I do wonder if that's going to stay a secret or not. I mentioned Agent Petey, and the next question is, who is Lube Man? Will we get confirmation that it is Agent Petey? Everything seems to point to it, especially after the last Petey files came out after episode 8. I don't think that he calls himself Lube Man. I think he would probably call himself the Fog Dancer, but it certainly points to him being the guy. My real question about Lube Man at this point is, will they actually confirm it, or will that be an ongoing mystery? Because really, Agent Petey is a candidate to be a season 2 main character if you think about it. It all depends on what happens with Senator Keene and Dr. Manhattan, of course, Jon Osterman, Cal Hatton, whatever you want to call him. But I think Agent Petey might be a good candidate for the ongoing adventures of what he gets into after his time in Tulsa. My next big question will be, what is Laurie going to say when she sees Dr. Manhattan? We know that she still has feelings based on the suitcase that she carries around and her calls from the prayer booth. She's being held prisoner inside the JCPenney, as she likes to refer to it, the hideout of the 7th Kavalry, and that tachyon cannon should have teleported him right there into the cage that was right in front of her. So I think their reunion could be a lot of fun. I don't know how she's going to react. If she already had an idea that it was Cal, I don't know why she would, except for their history. The next big question would be about Will Reeves, Hooded Justice, the first costume adventurer. What's he really doing? We learned in episode 8 that he probably came back to Tulsa based on Dr. Manhattan visiting him. We know that the children have been teleported to the Dreamland Theater in downtown Tulsa, which is right around the corner from where Angela's bakery is and where we see Lady Trieu in this picture outside of the prayer booth from the promotional pictures. So he's in town, but he's not at the Millennium Clock, according to that. We know he killed Judd Crawford. That set everything in motion. That got Laurie Blake there. That got everything going. We guess that him and Lady Trieu know what the 7th Kavalry are up to, and they're not really trying to stop it, not to this point. So what is Will trying to accomplish? And we'll talk about him some more when we get into Dr. Manhattan. And so the last big question is, what is Dr. Manhattan up to? Who will he or has he transferred his powers to? What are the actual chances that Senator Joe King Jr. becomes the next Dr. Manhattan? There's so much going on here. Jon Osterman believes that the 7th Kavalry is going to destroy him. He's been vague about the details about that, though. He certainly brought up the idea of passing off his powers in the bar with Angela when they met, and that doesn't seem like something that we should be overlooking. Plus, he explains how it works with an egg, and there have been eggs all over the place throughout this season. The title of this episode is See How They Fly, which is a lyric from the Beatles song I Am the Walrus, in which they say, I am the Eggman. And speaking of the Eggman, and Dr. Manhattan passing off his powers, what was up with Will whenever he grabbed the egg out of the boiling water, and what did that mean? Some people think that that means that he has Dr. Manhattan's powers before any of this stuff that's getting ready to happen at the end of the season happens. I really don't know. I really don't know what was going on with that egg. What I do know is that if you rewatch episode 8, Dr. Manhattan is doing a lot of things whenever he is first waking up. He seems disoriented, but he's also clearly doing stuff. He wanted Angela to see him on the pool. That's going to be important for later. He knows he's going to be transported out, and he is definitely taking care of business. The more I think about it, the more I think that he's probably going to pass off his powers to Angela. I think she'll inherit them for the end. I could be wrong. It could already be Will Reeves, her grandfather. It could be more than one person. Lady Trieu might be trying to give his powers to everyone, or she might be trying to keep them all for herself and power her Millennium Clock. There's just so many different ways that this can go. Those are the biggest questions I have that I expect to find answers to. I'm super curious to hear what you guys are thinking about, where you think it's all headed. What are the answers to these questions, and what are the other questions you have? There's lots of little things that I hope that they tie together. Why the lettuce is involved, what's the deal with the watch batteries, all sorts of what was up with Panda and why was his mask so dirty? How's the American Hero story going to play out? Is that going to play a part? Why did they show us a scene of that pamphlet being written before Will's father got it in World War I? I do have a feeling that Jon Osterman is going to die in the end. I think he knows that's going to happen. I don't know what that means for Cal. It would be kind of hilarious if Joe King Jr. is turned into Cal rather than getting Dr. Manhattan's powers and that whole transfer thing. There is so many different ways that it can all go. In less than 3 days, we will know the answers to all these questions. I'm going to leave it there. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching all my Watchmen videos. Thanks for watching the show with me. I'll talk to you soon.